All right, good afternoon, Keene, New Hampshire! Oh, sorry, I just had some breakfast. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I am Sherry Vine. I'm a New Yorker, but I live in Los Angeles, and I came all the way out here because I'm really good friends with Adam, and I was not going to miss something as important as the very first ever Gay Pride Festival in Keene! And I have to tell you honestly and sincerely, this is so important. We go around the world and you always think of like the big cities, New York, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, having these festivals. And it is just as important, if not more, to have something like this happen here and have everybody in the community come out and support and be either part of LGBTQ or an ally. We're all human, and thank you all so much for coming out today. Yes, Keene. So it is my pleasure. We got so much going on today. We're gonna have some proclamations, some speeches. We're gonna have some weddings. We're gonna have some shows. There is so much going on today. It's gonna be super exciting. First up, it is my honor to introduce and bring to the stage someone who's going to do something very important. Will you please give a round of applause for Mayor Hansel?
All right, thank you everybody, and welcome. On behalf of the City of Keene, I'd like to read this proclamation. Let's see if we can tilt this up a little bit. Whereas the purpose of Pride Week is to recognize the impact of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning queer plus individuals who have had on history locally, nationally, and internationally, it is also to recognize the role and contributions of the LGBTQ plus community in creating a safer and more accepting world for all people. And whereas the LGBTQ plus populations of the United States and the world have faced systemic discrimination, oppression, hatred, and violence as a consequence of their sexual and gender identities. And whereas Keene Pride's mission is to promote the visibility of LGBTQ plus people in the Monadnock region and build a coalition of services, organizations, and businesses that embrace and serve the LGBTQ plus population. And whereas this is the first ever Pride Week with a large-scale festival taking place on Sunday, September 18th. And whereas Keene Pride Fest is a way for the LGBTQ plus community and their allies to come together and celebrate, to show them that they are supported in our community. And whereas the City of Keene condemns violence and discrimination of all sorts and recognizes the inherent right of all persons to live free from fear and violence. Now, therefore, I, George S. Hansel, Mayor of the City of Keene, do declare the week of September 11th through the 18th, 2022, as LGBTQ plus Pride Week in Keene, and as an expression of our community's support and concern for the LGBTQ plus residents and their allies. In witness whereof, I hear and do set my hand in the official seal of the City of Keene this 18th day of September 2022. Thank you all, and have fun.
Hey everyone, I'm Miss Ginger Solis. I'm a local girl, and I'm so honored to be here. I'm on the board for Keene Pride, and seeing all of you here today, and all of our hard work, and bringing you all together, I'm so excited. Woo! Give it up! Come on! So now it's my honor to bring up Chris Coates, who's going to read a statement from Annie Custer.
A little tall, George. I want to thank you. My name is Chris Coates. I'm the county administrator here in Cheshire County, and I received a call last week from Congresswoman Custer to ask if I could stand in for her on her behalf, and I, of course, jumped at it as she's been a great friend to us in Cheshire County, especially over the last 2 years of the pandemic. I also want to go a little off script because that's what I normally do, and just say that my other personality is that I do a radio show here, and I had Adam and Polly, or should I say Ginger, on the show with me a few weeks ago. And I will tell you, I wanted to make sure you understand that I've never had the feedback that I've received after you came on the show. And I wanted to say some of the words that have been told to me by people that have reached out to me, whether it's in the shopping malls around the city of Keene, whether it's on the street, in restaurants, wherever it was in my work. I've heard excitement, I've heard being valued, I've heard empowered, I've heard caring, compassion, a sense of self, and acceptance in our community. So I applaud you and your board for what's happening here, the magic that's happening in the city this past week. I can't thank you enough for all that you've done to bring this to life. So thank you so much. One last thing is last night I was at the Colonial, and I will tell you that when I went in there, the energy was already high, but the second the show started, it went through the roof, and you guys, well, I can't really say what I really want to say, but you just took the roof off. It was exciting, it was invigorating, and I left there with such an energy to be here today and to celebrate with all of you, so thank you for that too. So, on behalf of Annie, she said, "Dear friends, thank you so much for your invitation to join you at the Keene Pride Fest, the first ever large-scale Pride Festival in the Monadnock region. I wish I could be with you to celebrate all our friends, neighbors, and family who are proud members of the LGBTQIA+ community. Pride festivals like these are crucial at this time, not only for the acceptance, for the admiration. Last year I was proud to support the Equality Act. The legislation would begin to ensure that the folks who identify as members of the LGBTQIA+ community are given basic human rights to live freely in our country. I will always have unwavering support for these necessary protections that ensure the freedom of our community. America has begun to make great strides towards equality, and I will work to ensure that this progress continues. I will always fight for the LGBTQIA+ people in our state and across the country. Though there is still much work to be done, today is a day to be proud. Every day is a good day to be yourself. On behalf of New Hampshire's 2nd Congressional District, thank you for all you are doing to make our state such a wonderful place to live, work, and thrive. Annie Custer, U.S. Congress." I'm just slow.
Thank you. Trying to get up and down the stairs in heels. And this is very early for drag. You do know that, right? Okay. It's much prettier and kinder at night. It is now my pleasure to bring to the stage Pam Slack, who is representing Senator Jean Shaheen. Pam Slack.
What a great turnout you have today, and what a gorgeous day to go as well. I work with Senator Shaheen here in the Keene office, and she was unavailable today, but she did send this letter. Dear friends, thank you for inviting me to join you for the City of Keene's inaugural Pride Festival. Please know that I will be with you in spirit as we stand up, speak out, and pledge support to our LGBTQ+ friends in the Monadnock region. Thank you to the Keene Pride, the Greater Keene Chamber, Keene and Peterborough Chamber, and everyone else who worked so hard to turn the vision behind this community celebration into an exciting reality. I'd also like to extend my congratulations and well wishes to the happy couples who will soon tie the knot in this afternoon's Married with Pride event. Every time we act to reverse the indignities and discrimination faced by our friends, we move our country closer toward fully recognizing one of its core founding principles, that all people are created equal. During events like Pride Festival, we look to the past with appreciation for the trailblazers who demanded justice and dignity and pressed tirelessly for progress. Yet we also look to the future with hope as we come together to continue the push forward towards full acceptance as well as equal rights and opportunities. We reflect on how far we've come, but acknowledge that our work is not quite finished. I'm proud to work alongside you in an effort to eliminate prejudice wherever it exists and to celebrate our fellow community members for exactly who they are. Thank you again for the invitation to attend and best wishes to you in your future endeavors. Sincerely, Jean Shaheen, United States Senator.
Thank you so much, Pam Slack. And now we have Melinda Treadwell, president of Keene State College.
Good afternoon and welcome to Keene Pride. I am Melinda Treadwell, president of Keene State College. I'm honored to be here representing a community where we recognize that our students, faculty, and staff are all an important part of the enriching community of the greater Keene area. Many of our LGBTQI+ students, when they come to Keene State College, are able for the first time in their lives to express who they really are and to join a community at Keene State where they find acceptance, encouragement, and gratitude for who they are and the beauty that they bring to our college community. It is not all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, believe me, but the good news is that we as a community are committed to making a difference and to building a world with the broader Keene region through our collective effort that means welcome to all. Keene Pride and Keene State College together, we will continue to support, affirm, and ally, to hold our dreams of love and welcome for all. So thank you to the organizers of Keene Pride for this event where we can all come together, be who we truly are, and enjoy a beautiful day together. So have fun, be proud, and thank you all.
Okay, when I landed at Logan Airport and Patrick picked me up, the first thing he said when I got in the car was, well, wait until you meet this next person. Walking around town, everyone's like, have you met? Oh my God. And he is here today, so not only is very important, but he's also a super nice person and an ally. Please welcome Donovan Fenton, New Hampshire State Rep.
Hi everyone, thank you for that introduction. I am blushing up here if you could see. But my name is Donovan Fenton. I'm a state rep, but I'm also your Democratic nominee for state senate here in District 10. Thank you. Today we are celebrating a huge milestone in our community. Keene's first ever Pride Festival. For people across the region, this festival is the accumulation of years of advocacy, work, and the struggle to bring about this celebration. For me, the development and success of this festival is particularly personal. As some of you may know, my sister Katie is the administrative director of Keene Pride. And as her little brother, I want to take a minute to acknowledge all her hard work. Katie, I'm so proud. And I've seen how much you've put in this festival over the last year, and I cannot express how proud I am of you, so thank you. And really how proud I am of everyone involved here in Keene Pride. Adam, the president, fantastic job. You've been working your butt off on this. To me, pride stands for courage. The courage of all those in previous generations and today who proudly live their truth. Here in Keene, we open our arms to everyone, and we are all equal here. We have come so far, but we have so long to go in the state. We are at a tipping point for LGBTQ+ rights here in New Hampshire. I've been in the State House for 6 years, and every year we have had to fight to preserve equal rights for all Granite Staters. Just a few months ago, we fought the Parental Bill of Rights. And this bill would have forced teachers to out gay, lesbian, transgender students who confided in them. Coming out should always be an intimate moment within a family, not the school administrator calling your parents and outing you. We've seen attempts to legalize conversion therapy in our state. It's our job to ensure every individual in the LGBTQ+ community can live a free life from discrimination. And we can protect these rights by getting out and voting. Our local elections are the front lines to ensure we all have equal rights. On Tuesday, I became your Democratic nominee for State Senate here in District 10. And I'm here today to promise you that if you send me back to Concord, if you send me back to the State Senate, I will never stop fighting to support equal rights of the LGBTQ+ community. And that's in the workplace, the housing place, community, education settings, and beyond. Progress has not come easy, but this community is resilient. These are human rights. Having everyone here today, loving one another, and educating one another shows that we can accomplish anything. Thank you all for coming out today and listening to me. Have a great first Pride Day.
Thank you, Donovan. And I think we can all see what Sherry was talking about. Whoa. All right, next it's my extreme honor to bring up a former Vermont State Senate candidate, which he are too.
Hello, beautiful people. Before I begin, I kind of want to harness our energy a little bit, okay? On the count of 3, I want everyone to roar so loud that we shake the windows of all of these buildings. Are you ready for it? 1, 2, 3. That's right. I'm calling that the collective roar, because if one of us did that, we would just look ridiculous. But when we all do it together, we make change. We shake the windows of downtown Keene. So my name is Wichi Artu, pronouns he, him, his. I did run for Vermont State Senate in the past election. And you know, I've helped pass legislation. I've helped convince the Vermont governor to help vaccinate BIPOC folks, people of color in specific, to reduce the racial disparities. I've helped distribute rapid test kits to people, to the LGBTQ+ community specifically. And the thing was, I didn't do it alone. I did it because there were other people willing to roar with me. And as I ran, as I talked about, you know, I've been homeless. I know what it means to be homeless. I know what it means to apply to food stamps and have to reapply every 3 months. I know what it means to, you know, be in a mental health institution. I know what it means when you're running your campaign and someone tells you, I'm not gonna vote for you because you have our pronouns on your info card. But you know what also happened is people were like, oh, I've also been homeless. Thank you for being able to identify with that. You know what? I am 15, and because you were courageous enough to put your pronouns on your campaign, I'm gonna now say my pronouns wherever I go. Yes. And when I think about what's happening in the world today, just last year, my town clerk decided not to give me my marriage application because she didn't believe in same-sex marriage. When we look to national politics, we see people trying to rob us of our word of gay in our schools. We see the Supreme Court justice openly say that they're going to get rid of same-sex marriage. I cannot be alone doing this work. I look around me and I see gorgeous colors. I see the trans flag, I see the gay flag, I see people of color, and I need you to run for office because I need you to do it with me. When we think about our past, right? Well, actually, you know what? To think about my father's generation. I have uncle who have died of AIDS. In my parents' generation, sodomy was illegal. But you know what we did? We had the gay rights liberation movement. We went out on the street and we marched with our heels, our flags, our pride. What has come to be known today as the collective roar of pride. And as I see these colors, as I see people's willingness to bring their kids, I see people's willingness to hold their hands in public. Oh, yeah. We are that change. And we are ready to tell Ron DeSantis, we are ready to tell Justice Roberts that change is a-coming. Because we're doing what? We're running for office. What are we doing? That's right. And you are just one step away because all you have to do is file. All you have to do is file. And if you're scared, trust me, I'm also scared. Nervousness is like a real thing and everybody has it. You are not the only one. And if you think you're not perfect enough, perfect is an anomaly. Perfect does not exist in nature. The fact that you are not perfect makes you qualified. The fact that you have lived the life that you have lived makes you qualified and makes you valuable. And if you don't know where to start, I'll give you my email. I'll give you my phone number. Let's go for some coffee. Talk to the leaders of the organizers of Keene Pride. They'll help you out. Go to Rights and Democracy. They have free training sessions for you to attend on how to apply and how to file to run for office. Now, it takes on average 7 times to ask someone from a marginalized community, and that includes us, to run before they'll actually run. So I've asked you 4 times. Instead of me asking you now, I'm going to use our collective roar to ask that of ourselves and ask that of each other. So, when Ron DeSantis says, don't say gay, what are we going to do? Run for office, that's right. It's okay, we got you. When Justice Roberts says he's going to get rid of same-sex marriage, what are you going to do? If you are scared, imperfect, and feeling like you just need that one step of bravery, what are you going to do? That's right. And to all those folks out there who don't believe in us, who feel like we're not a real thing, well, I got a message from them in the message of our ancestors. We're here, we're queer, and they better get fucking used to it. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. I'm going to run for office, just not in these shoes. Thank you. I am so happy we got to meet last night after the show at the little party, and he's here today. Just won the primary for Democratic New Hampshire State Rep. Please welcome Shaun Filiault.
So instead of a speech, I'm going to tell you a story. In 1998, in a Wyoming town, similar to this, in bars similar to these, a young gay man named Matthew Shepard made a mistake. He hit on some straight guys. It happens. But these straight men played a monstrous trick on him. They lured him out of the bar, and they brutally killed him and hung his corpse out on a fence post. They had their murder charge downgraded to manslaughter because they argued for the gay panic defense. This is a partial defense to murder that says that the experience of being hit on by a gay person so overcame their delicate emotions that they experienced temporary insanity and they couldn't control themselves and they had to kill him. That's not a reasonable response to being hit on. Now, at the time, I was a teenage boy here in Keene, just coming to realize my own sexuality and peeking out of the closet door. But the Matthew Shepard case was enough to slam that door shut because I didn't want to risk telling anybody about my truth when there was such hate in the world. Now, you'd think that the gay panic defense would be a relic of a bygone era, but it's not. It still exists in many states, and it exists in New Hampshire right now. The New Hampshire legislature tried to abolish it earlier this year, and it failed. The gay panic defense still exists right now in New Hampshire. And that's where my story picks up. On a June afternoon, a friend of mine texted me a picture of my legislator's vote on the gay panic defense, and he voted to retain it. He voted to keep the gay panic defense in New Hampshire. And I sat in stunned silence looking at this picture of this voting record. This defense, which so terrified me as a teenager, was still here in the state. And not only that, a person who wielded power in my name, a person who wielded power in all of your name, voted to retain this moral abomination. There's a moment when principle meets reality and your truth emerges. I could either let this sit and allow this person to continue to wield power, or I could do something about it. And I did something about it. I walked down to City Hall and I filed to run for office. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was going to do it. This past Tuesday, the voters, all of you, spoke, and I won. Thank you for your confidence. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your confidence. As I drove home from the polls Tuesday evening, I drove around the common here, and I saw the rainbow lights illuminating the church. This big white church at the head of the square in the town where I grew up. And I thought, there's a certain beauty to this timing. At the same time that our city embraced an openly gay candidate running on a message of love, we have our first Pride Festival, marked by rainbow lights illuminating the sky on a church nonetheless. And I reflected on the meaning of Pride. Yes, Pride is parties and dances and drag shows, but it's also a story of struggle and triumph. It is the story of the patrons of the Stonewall Inn taking to the streets because they had enough. And it's the story of the activists of ACT UP in the 90s demanding our government do something. And it's the story of Obergefell, who told us that our Constitution is big enough to embrace us all. And it's the story of ordinary people on June afternoons deciding to stand up because we need people to take on injustice in this world. So I ask all of you, when principle meets reality and your truth emerges, make that truth be love. Thank you all, and have an amazing Pride.
Thank you, Shaun, and best of luck. Yay, Shaun Filiault. Yay! Okay, please welcome, coming up next from the New Hampshire Youth Movement, please welcome Erica Perez. Oh, there she is. Hi, Erica.
Hello. My name's Erica Perez. I'm the political director for New Hampshire Youth Movement. I wanted to start off by saying Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. I was raised in a Catholic Honduran household here in New Hampshire. I've been queer for as long as I can remember. It was never a realization, it always just was. From innocent crushes on girls in my class to kissing girls in middle school. The thing that didn't occur to me was that it had a name, a label. I was bisexual, and as soon as I knew, I wanted to tell everybody. When I told my mother, she did not share my enthusiasm. Instead, she said a prayer, a wish for it to be gone. I shoved it down, thinking maybe I can just focus on the boy part of being bisexual to not upset anyone. But when I got older and I moved out, I found something amazing, the LGBTQ+ community. I found my found family, people who saw me for who I was, friends who loved loudly and openly, people who were so unafraid of who they were, they made me feel like I didn't have to be scared either. I'm non-binary and I'm out. Thank you. I can stand in front of a crowd and say that now. I'm proud of it. Being a girl never felt like the right thing. I prefer to be genderless. I prefer to be myself. I truly believe that you're only as strong as your community, and our community is resilient. Our community is brave and beautiful. We are here because of the people who came before us. They fought for us to be able to celebrate today. I want to acknowledge that. The first Pride was a riot, and we can't forget that. And we also can't forget that we haven't stopped fighting yet. Here in our state, there have been attacks against the LGBTQ+ community in the State House. Just in the last year, they tried to make conversion therapy legal again. They tried to add sexual reassignment to the definition of child abuse. They tried to keep trans girls off of sports teams. It's an election year. We can and will vote these people out. And if you want to be more involved in the work, or even just know when these bills are coming up this year, please consider stopping by NHYM's table. It's over there. And following New Hampshire's LGBTQ+ advocacy group 603 Equality. Remember, we keep us safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. So I have a little story about our next speaker. So when I was a little queer kid, there was this show called The Real World. And for me, living in a little small town, I didn't see queer people. I didn't have representation. I didn't know it was okay to be gay and gender fluid. So this show just showed, it was the first people I seen, real people living their lives, and gay people on the TV. And this next speaker was on The Real World's New Orleans. And Adam actually said, we're gonna get him. I was like, oh, please. He's like big. And so Adam reached out through his Airbnb site and said, hey, will you speak? And he was like, okay. And he's like, I'm doing a Zoom with him. And do you want to be on that Zoom? And I said, yeah. And then he went out to dinner with us, not once, but twice. He's so amazing, so kind, and absolutely gorgeous. So I'd like to welcome now Danny Roberts.
That's a lot to live up to. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Danny Roberts. Thank you for that introduction. I am not a politician. I'm not here to pitch anything political, but I do live in the area. When these guys came to me, you guys, by the way, kudos to Adam and the crew for making this happen. It's amazing. When they came to me and asked me to do this, I said, heck yes. There's a couple of reasons, and I'll tell you why. One, I live in the area. I live in Vermont, so this is home now. This is actually a beautiful full circle moment because I came here about 20 years ago after my original show to speak at Keene State at a time when it was about just trying to break down barriers on the campus. So it says so much how far we've come in these past 20 or so years, particularly in communities like this. I too grew up in a very small town in Georgia, of all places, North Georgia, so I know what it's like to feel invisible in your own community, and I think it's so amazing to see things like this Pride happening in places like this across America. So congratulations to you all, this is huge. So some of you may know me from a show called The Real World. I see lots of young faces out there, so some of you may not know, and that's okay. Real World was a television show that was huge back in the day. It was the first reality show ever, documentary style. And it was incredibly important in our modern culture because it exposed America and the world. It's a global show. It exposed people to all different kinds of human lived experiences, including LGBT people. And that at this time, it was kind of some of the only times that any of us were ever seen was on this show. I really appreciate Shaun sharing his story because it really sets the tone for the era that I first appeared on The Real World, which was in 1999, a year after Matthew Shepard's story. So, you know, what I took away from that experience, why that experience was so meaningful and so important, it's about visibility. You know, again, at a time when LGBT people weren't really seen. If we were only viewed as broken people, negative viewpoints. It is so important to have visibility to change that story. And I am so happy for you guys to be having this, to be making yourselves visible to each other, to build community here amongst yourselves, to show the wider community who you are and that you exist here, that we exist here, and to spread some love. So with that said, I believe I'm the last to go. Is that correct? Everybody ready to celebrate? Let's do it. Thank you all.
Yes, you guys give a round of applause to Danny. Thank you, Danny. Can we have a round of applause for everybody who came up today to speak and come out and support Keene Pride? Thank you all. Speaking of spreading the love that Danny was talking about, in 15 minutes we're going to have 4 weddings. One is a real official wedding and 3 are vow renewals. It's going to be really beautiful and it's going to take place in 15 minutes. And then after that, we're going to have some shows and performances going on for the rest of the afternoon on the stage. So don't go anywhere. 15 minutes. Join us back here at the gazebo. Thank you, Keene!